Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closures.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Katie Campbell, a board certified health and wellness coach and the founder of Mindful Constitution. She focuses on integrative wellness coaching, guiding sober, curious individuals to reflect honestly on their relationship with alcohol and overall health. Katie's mission is to create a mindful, supportive space for personal growth and healthier living. With that being said, Katie, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Hi, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
We're glad to have you, Katie. Awesome. Let's dive into the conversation. What I love to do with every single one of my guests is take it back in time. Before you even had this company, what were you doing before? And then eventually, what motivated you to start the business?
Yeah, so before I started Mindful Constitution, I was on my educational journey getting my undergraduate in psychology. I went on to get my master's in root cause healing and nutrition. And along the way, I also was a big binge drinker. I definitely felt that my drinking was normalized kind of by our society and by the industry I worked in. I worked in hospitality throughout my educational journey. And so it was really normal to binge drink in that environment. Where I grew up on Martha's Vineyard was a seasonal vacation destination. So I also drinking heavily was very normalized there as well. And although looking back, like my drinking patterns were certainly toxic and unhealthy, I was definitely able to justify them by the societal programming I saw around alcohol. But as I carried forward with my education around holistic health and well-being and starting to have aspirations around creating my own business and helping other people heal, I started to feel increasingly out of alignment with my own drinking. And so when I finished my health coaching certification after my master's, I decided I'm just going to take a little break from alcohol. I want to take some time off to explore how I can get creative with my business, really optimize my confidence. As we know, and you may feel the same, it's quite daunting when you first start putting yourself out in the public eye. And I really didn't feel in my integrity starting a health coaching business, going on social media, talking about health and wellness while I was drinking in this way on the side and in the background, and did not feel in alignment. And so I took a trial break from alcohol in 2020, and I had done a couple dry months before that. My sober curiosity was definitely emerging before that, but in 2020, in July, when I officially started my business, I decided I'm going to take a indefinite break, just see how that helps me grow and expand and lean into entrepreneurship. And that was kind of the start of the entire creation of my niche. I found that eliminating alcohol optimized nearly every aspect of my life and my health, my emotional well being. It reduced my anxiety. I felt such a deepened spiritual connection to my life and my own intuition and my own internal compass and my confidence. And so that I also realized alongside that my background in holistic health really helped support me in making an alcohol-free or sober life sustainable, because I was learning about nervous system regulation and spiritual development and diet and evaluating our off the plate factors like community and inner child healing and shadow work, and all of these things really helped me to create like a sustainable holistic approach to alcohol-free living. And so I just really formed my coaching around that, and it's just continued to expand. I'm in my yurt right now where I host sister circles monthly. I do them in person here where we do breath work and meditation and workshopping in conjunction to my one-on-one work and podcast as well. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like a journey though, but I'm very happy that I can say confidently that I can relate to what you just said. I actually stopped drinking like 2 years ago, and I absolutely agree that this is going to better you in every single aspect of your life. So, hats off to you for going through something like that and now having the ability to share the messaging behind it with others and help your clients. Now, Katie, let's talk about where this journey got you eventually and what the business really looks like today. Because in this part, what we're trying to do is really have a deeper understanding of like who it is exactly that you're looking to help. What is that core offering that you have in place for your clients? But also, what is the process? What the client goes through, right? Like, what does it look like to work with you? So just go ahead and tell us exactly who do you help and then what do you help them with?
Yeah, so I help deep feelers, people who are highly sensitive, who just kind of feel like normalized drinking culture, alcohol really isn't serving them. They're curious about how their lives could expand, taking a break from alcohol or eliminating it entirely. I also I say gray area drinkers because I feel sober curiosity is obviously a path for people who are not quite escalated to a level of addiction. So if we're at a level of physical dependency, then clearly we can't really be curious anymore. We kind of need to move to abstinence and take that more definitive approach. But if we are in the gray area, there's a lot of problematic effects of alcohol long before alcoholism develops. There's many ways alcohol can be holding us back long before alcoholism develops. There's tons of ways in which drinking and alcohol is normalized in our society. That's not alcoholism, but it's certainly toxic and negatively impacting our life and our potential. So I really work with people who are just high achievers, deep feelers, people in the gray area of the drinking spectrum that are just wanting to see like what they are truly capable of without alcohol. And what it looks like to work with me is outside of my group offerings, I do donation based monthly virtual circles, which, like I said, is workshopping and breath work and meditation. And I do monthly in person circles in my local community in my garden yurt I have here. And so, yeah, I have a beautiful garden right outside, and I just really inspire people to reconnect to their inner child, to the creativity they hold within, to their passion and purpose and how they can create deeper meaning and a vibrant life that ignites their soul. Like without alcohol, we've been taught to think that the only way to have fun, the only way to loosen up. It's just
Mhm.
so many falsehoods that we've been taught around our relationship to alcohol. And so, what it looks like to work with me one on one is I have 6 month coaching containers where I have a self paced course, Sober Curiosity for Mindful Living, that clients are encouraged to work through at their own pace. And it covers everything from optimizing physical health and how alcohol impacts physical health to optimizing emotional health and stress management techniques and how alcohol negatively impacts that, and optimizing our spiritual development and finding meaning and purpose to something greater beyond ourselves. I encourage people to explore what spirituality means to them, whether it's religious or more of like a mystical spirituality. And yeah, I take them through a journey of all the arms of holistic health through the lens of sober curiosity in a self-paced course. I do bi-weekly sessions with them and we communicate on Voxer the whole time. So we're always messaging back and forth throughout the process, and we do breath work and meditation to integrate. And so yeah, it's a really transformative high touch 6 month coaching container. And then I also do, because I find that there's many ways we dim ourselves down. For me, it was alcohol, but for other people, maybe it's weed, maybe it's people pleasing, maybe it's sabotaging patterns. And so I created a 1 month container as well to help clients explore like, what is their sticking point? How are they keeping themselves stuck? And to kind of focus in on one area that they want to start to remove an obstacle from their life. And so, yeah.
There's a lot of going on. So absolutely. But what would you say is the average duration of a client working with you? Is that those 6 months that you mentioned in the one-on-one coaching that you do, or what would you say the average is?
So I would say honestly, it ends up being longer than the 6 months, typically because the 6 months it is such a transformational experience and there's so many layers of the healing process. My goal is ultimately I don't want clients relying on me. I want them reliant on their own inner authority and really inspiring them to lean into their intuition and what they're truly capable of and creating their own source of inner guidance. But after 6 months, a lot of times I extend coaching bundles to clients where they can continue to work with me at whatever sequence or cadence feels pertinent to their journey. So they oftentimes I'll like continue to work with clients in a capacity of like circumstantial points in their life, a new layer of healing. I feel as though I end up kind of being their spiritual health and life coach for life as needed. Or, and then see we take time apart and they come back. And it's been really beautiful to watch the unfolding and walk by people's side for different
Mhm.
chapters of their journey beyond just the sober curious element too. Cause we find there's so much more that we start to explore once that alcohol is out of the equation or we resolve that it's kind of hold on our life. There's a lot of healing beyond that can take place. And so, yeah, I'm always just humbled to continue to work with people in whatever way feels resonant for them as they go.
Yeah. It must be pretty amazing to see those transformations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I would love to clarify, though, obviously, since you started, you're still balancing between in-person events and in-person meetings and the online virtual coaching, right? So, what is the ratio, though? What is taking most of your time? Are you leaning more towards the in-person, or how is it going for you?
More towards in person with my events. I think it's a hybrid. Some of my one-on-one clients are local, but we still meet virtually. A lot of women come to my circles, and yeah, so I'd say it's kind of a balance of the both.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, Katie, if you would allow me, I also want to talk about the backend side of the business. At the end of the day, we're in Founders Future podcast, right? So anything regarding sales, marketing, strategies, operations, we want to know about it. So what are you currently doing to have a good client acquisition system in place? And, what are you doing from lead generation standpoint to actually bring these clients into the program and have an impact on their life?
Yeah. So I created a 30-page guide, Sober Curiosity for Sensitive Souls, that I use as a lead magnet. I use Facebook ads to with that link, and then people sign up with their email and they get nurtured in my newsletter. I do the donation based circle. I do Facebook events that I boost. And so I get a lot of lead generation through that. Even though it's donation based, there's always tons of people that mark interested. And I always try to reach out to them and communicate, share my guide, share my podcast, share any free resources I have just to let them know like there's plenty of value here for free. And in just being a part of my community on Instagram, I'm always really nurturing relationships there to um, ensure that people feel like they're part of my community. And so I think I have developed lots of lead strategies over the years, but at first I felt very overwhelmed. I'm like, what? I just post randomly on Instagram was my like method, but then yeah, stopped doing that, started being more targeted with what I post and making sure I'm actually following up with people who like things and follow me and initiating conversations and just it kind of evolved just organically that I started getting a little bit more strategic, but I think ultimately at the end of the day it's just really trying to connect with people and offer them genuine value and share your authentic self and the right people. Obviously, we have to have strategies and systems, but We also have to be like authentic and just genuinely care for the people that we're trying to help, and knowing that we've been there and expressing that, I think you kind of magnetize the right clients to you. So, yeah, I'd say it's a combination of organic marketing on Instagram, my 30-page Sober Curiosity for Sensitive Soul lead magnet, and my events. Once people can actually come into contact with me through my circles, whether virtually and in person, and get a taste of like who I am and what I offer in my coaching, that's been a doorway to a lot of one-on-one clients.
Oh, I believe so. Absolutely. And also, I mean, based on what you just mentioned, there's a lot of actions that you have to take on the marketing front, from organic content to running paid ads, email marketing. There's just a lot, right? So my next question is, have you already built your little internal teams for marketing and sales? And if not, is that a part of what you want to do? What is your perspective on that?
I do not have any team. At some
It's
point,
just a one-woman show.
it's a one-woman show, and I have a toddler. So yeah, it's been a journey. I think at some point I will delegate more, get a virtual assistant, that type of thing. But for now, yeah, I've been able to like streamline everything in a way that works for me. But I do foresee the need for a team at some point.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems like you're trying to build something bigger. So at the end of the day, everybody's going to get to that position where you no longer have the ability to take care of everything. There's just too much to juggle at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to this, also one thing that I'm curious about, obviously, there's other professionals in your industry who are leaning more towards the group coaching side of things, just to have that ability to impact a lot more people at the same time, right? So when it comes to virtual coaching that you do now, mostly on one-on-one basis, would you like to also switch and aim more towards the group coaching, or what is the perspective there?
Um, I am not sure yet. I'm letting it unfold as it's supposed to. I think a big part of me, I love everything I'm doing, but I am not really interested in being like, I'm a six-figure coach. I love the idea of creating a brand that feels aligned, and writing a book and doing appearances and retreat collaboration. And if that means that I also build a community alongside that via Substack or different means, or doing more group coaching, um, then I would be open to it. But right now, I'm kind of just seeing how things go in terms of like the curation of my whole brand as a whole, which will always include some variation of coaching. But I know I want it to include speaking, writing, yeah, more collaborations for retreats internationally here. So that's my vision for the big picture.
Mm. And also having a toddler is a full-time job in itself. So we get it. And
Yeah.
you just gave us a little sneak peek into what's going to happen in the future. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that. More specifically, the short-term goal. So if you think about the next 12 months, Katie, what would you say are the biggest goals, targets, revenue, milestones, whatever comes to your mind?
Um, I think for me, I'm really happy with where I am, and I'm appreciating that. And uh I feel the more that I grow, the less attached I am to like projections of the future, and the more I have faith in the unfolding of my path as it should be. The more I surrender to my faith and my own alignment, the more I just trust the process. And I'm really happy with everything I've built and all I've created. And I'm just kind of like enjoying that and letting it organically become what it's supposed to be.
Mhm. Now, when we think about what it's supposed to be and become in the future, what do you think could become like the biggest challenge in making everything happen that you mentioned? You know, speaking, growing the company, going even further with the whole project. What do you think is going to become the biggest hurdle?
Uh, just the unknown, not knowing how to go, not like in terms of speaking or opportunities, is like publicity, maybe meeting the right people and right connections and putting yourself out there and becoming an authority in your field. But I also look at how far I've come. And so that really helps me to trust the unfolding.
Love it. Katie, I'm going to ask you my favorite question before we wrap it up.
Mhm.
Obviously, you've been in business for quite some time now. So if you could travel back to the very beginning of your journey as an entrepreneur, what would be the best piece of advice that you would give yourself?
Ah,
Put you on a spot here. Haven't
yeah.
I?
No, it's okay. I like being put on the spot. Um, I would probably say, like, whatever's meant for you isn't going anywhere. I think when we find our path of alignment, we can tend to have a sense of urgency with it, and we can feel like we need to force things ahead and do it all on our own. And I would just encourage my old self or anyone listening, like focusing on your inner alignment is the most important thing. Focusing on being in integrity with yourself and the work you're doing and your path. I had a friend once say, like, when you're in alignment with yourself, it's kind of like the red carpet rolls out in front of you and you
Mhm.
become at peace with the process and you don't have to force it. Obviously, there's a lot of hard work that goes into entrepreneurship. There's a lot of um, investing in ourselves we need to do. There's a lot of grunt work we need to do. There's a lot of unknowns and variables and learning on the go. But I think just really not getting ahead of ourselves and focusing on being in your integrity with your message, what you're doing, and trusting the unfolding of your path and knowing, yeah, that, like I said, what's meant for you isn't going anywhere, and I think that's, like, brought me a lot of peace and allowed me to come from a space of, like, authenticity and inspired creativity instead of, like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss the boat," or, like, "I need to do this because someone's gonna get ahead of me or someone's gonna take my idea." It's like, no, you just have to focus on being your authentic self, in alignment with your authentic self, and then no one can be you, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So stay aligned with what you say, what you do, and who you are, basically.
Mhm.
I love
Yes.
it. Thank you,
Yep.
Katie. Awesome. This wraps up another very insightful episode of Founders Future. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time today, sharing the story with the listeners and me. And if anybody from the audience wanted to reach out to you, maybe even work with you, what is the best way to go about that?
I would say I'm most active on Instagram at mindful.constitution. And my website is where I have inquiry forms for applying to work with me. I do work with a handful of one on one clients at any given time, but I always like to make sure it's a right fit for the both of us. And so that is where you apply, mindfulconstitution.com. But if you just want to start gaining exposure to my content, see what I'm all about, and maybe attend a virtual circle, yeah, you can find those all on Instagram.
Love it. Everybody look for Katie Campbell on social media and Mindful Constitution. Katie is amazing. Definitely reach out. Now, listeners, if you found today's conversation inspiring, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you own an agency, and you're trying to scale your business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io. Get in touch with our team and discover how exactly we scaled our company from zero to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.